I expanded my comfort zone today. And really, with doing that, you can only do so much preparation, even with, like, if you're the most prepared for something. Things can go not according to plan, and that is exactly what I experienced today. I know this isn't the typical attire that I wear on here, but today was not a typical day. So after my classes, I came home, cleaned up, and started working on these questions to interview two people. Initially, I was told that I was going to be interviewing them together. So I was expecting an environment to where they were going to bounce off of each other a bit, and that would have probably helped ease some tension, but instead I did not have that. And mind you, this was my first time interviewing anyone. I had to make sure it was recording because I'm kind of new to this thing, and well, this is my first time doing the camera actually facing back instead of where I can see myself. So I am speaking to 3 dots right now, and I will just imagine that those 3 dots, now 5 dots, because there's so many cameras on this Apple phone, are 5 people that this reaches that make it to this point. So hello, one of the 5 people that have made it here. What I'm talking about today is the fact that you can't hold yourself back waiting to be so prepared to go ahead and do it. You will never feel prepared enough. Sometimes you really just have to try something that you might not do well at. And it wasn't the most amazing experience. It was very enriching experience to do this interview. I interviewed a choreographer for a ballet and then the director of the ballet. The first part with the director and CEO of the ballet went better, but then I interviewed the choreographer separate, and maybe it was because there was an off thing on the scheduling, so he had rehearsal at the time we were initially going to be interviewing the 2 of them together, and I heard him on the phone, as I was entering in the building, I heard him talking about the scheduling conflict and stuff, how he was and I don't know where to be and stuff, and he sounded stressed. So I think that I carried some of that into our interview, even though he left it. Speaking to him, he was as calm as could be and just ready to talk, but it was me that felt off in that interview. I felt good about the first interview with the ballet director / CEO. But then my process and my questioning just kind of fell apart when it came to the second interview. But at least I did it. It's all preparation is what I'm saying, putting yourself out there and saying yes to things, because I could have said, no, I'm okay, I don't want to interview, or I don't think I'm ready for that. But if anyone asks me to do something and it's in my area of interest and I feel unprepared, or maybe I'm not there yet, I will say yes. Because the only way that you're going to get there is to go ahead and start doing it. That's how I got in this writing position anyway. I felt kind of unqualified at first, but it's really a lot just fake it till you make it, and then eventually it all starts to make sense more and things start to click and you find where you're supposed to be in that space. Or it may lead to you entering a different space, a different career path. Even just getting your face out there in the community can return dividends. Someone's like, you seem familiar, and they run into you. That will help you out someday. I also do this thing when it comes to seeking discomfort, where I convince myself that I'm feeling excited instead of nervous. They are very similar feelings in the body, So if I get this feeling, I would used to be like, I'm nervous for this, da da. No. I just say I'm excited now. I'm like, yeah, I'm excited, and then you can kind of work through it a little bit. But if you're saying you're nervous, then you're just gonna like move it all to being in your head. And I'd rather express that like through my body and through my focus and attention. Like, oh, I'm excited for this. I'm going to be listening to these podcasts about this company and stuff, and coming up with my questions, reading up on my history. And I mean, this is ballet. If there's anything about me, it's that I'm a critic of ballet. This company has changed my mind on what ballet can be, but I still believe ballet to be an elite dance form, and that it has really high barriers to entry and is more so than anything just a symbol of prestige and gatekeeping in dance. But there's still some beauty in it and artistry in it. I think ballet can be really good for some individuals, but it would also be nice if it was open to more people and more forms of expression and making way for more voices. And that is what the Nashville Ballet is doing. I really think it's interesting how they are incorporating pop culture into it all. Like they have a they have a showing, like they have 4 main pieces for this season, their 40th season. The first one is If I Can Dream, which is about Elvis. And the second one is The Nashville Nutcracker. The third one is Black Swan, and then the fourth one is Sherlock. So the first and the last one are very pop culture centered, and it seems like it's trying to broaden the reach of ballet. My hope is that by broadening the reach of the audience for ballet, resources can be broadened too. So then we are getting ballet education to more people and kids. Even if it's a dance form that I personally don't really have a desire to learn, if some little girl wants to learn ballet, she should have access to dance classes just as much as someone whose family can easily, without thinking about it, pay for ballet classes. Because if we just have this equal opportunity for all artistic fields, which are really just, in a way, political fields, it's just politics in motion, I think the world would be a better place. I think the world would be a better place if we had a stage for more voices. Authentic voices that are unrepresented and underrepresented or misrepresented as well. And it really, to me, seems like the most important thing to do would just be getting these resources to kids while they are young and instilling in them the mindset that it is possible to do this for your career. Because that's the difference. Whenever you come from, like, say, even a middle class family, they're most likely going to be like, go to college, get a good job, make good money, make a living, do your hobbies in your free time. I can't speak too much on lower income families because I'm from a middle class family. But I would assume it would be along a similar line, but also maybe more so of being the first one to go to college in your family, or trade school perhaps more. Just speculation. But when it comes to upper class families, especially the ones that don't really have to work, like it can be all provided for them through their family, they can fully invest all of their time, instead of having to work a part-time or full-time job throughout high school to help out with their family or just to save for college or just for their dreams, they can just take lessons and work on their craft. And in such a technical field like ballet, where it really takes, at minimum, like 8 to 10 years to be able to be skillful enough to do this on a stage as a professional ballet dancer, think of how many people that have dreamt of being a ballet dancer just had to let that dream pass because they didn't have those 10 years of lessons. I don't think it needs to be like that. We had a career fair at school today, and I was just waltzing around. Did I have a resume? No. Did I get asked if I had a resume from one person? Yes, I did. And she got my LinkedIn instead. I found my way in the aisle of public schools in Murfreesboro. Was talking to these two ladies, and they mentioned, well, I was talking about what I'm doing. I was like, I'm a sociology major, and they were like, well, that's great. Both of us didn't go to school for teaching. They're part of this program that's like similar to Peace Corp and AmeriCorps, but it's for teachers, and they can even pay your student loans a little bit. It's just a 2-year commitment, and you teach at some school K through 12. They recently opened a school, or added to a school. I believe it was opened a new school though, that has a dance studio. And that makes me so happy. It's a dance studio for high schoolers. So I was like, do you need volunteers? Because that'd be super fun to get some hands-on learning, maybe teaching kids a little bit about dance or dance history even. Which, am I qualified? Not really. I am learning more and more history of dance every day. But training in dance? I don't have a cheer background. I don't have dance class background. I put myself through about 3 weeks of Latin ballroom and just social dancing last summer, and then starting next week, I'm putting myself through 15 weeks of Latin dance again, this time focus on salsa and bachata. So that's like, I'm really excited for that. And maybe dancing will be my future. I surely think that would be really cool. Like, that'd be so fun. But we have to live outside of our comfort zones to get to where we're meant to be. If you just stay within this area that you are comfortable with, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're just going to stay comfortable. And while that can seem appealing, and especially if you've been just struggling to like stay afloat for some time, having just maintenance is in itself a relief and a release. But it's being able to expand and continually grow as a person on all levels is what's really going to take you far. I'm hopeful for the future. There's all this AI stuff going on. There's the first AI artist signed. Like, let's be real. They say she writes her own music. But you could just lie and use AI to like proofread your lyrics or stuff. Like, some of the stuff she's written is too hyper specific that I'm like, this feels like you prompted it. And people say us artists need to adapt to the times. Start using AI for this, start using AI for that. I say, in a way, we should be resisting the times. We should be paving a new way, even if it means going back to old ways. Because you know what I feel is valuable? Seeing people face to face, dancing with people in a room to music that is being played, to music that is being sung from someone with a real soul. Not a hologram that they're probably going to have soon representing the AI artist. Not an automatic auto-tune that is going to make someone that sings terribly sing good, removing the inflections of humanness in their voice. Just real people making real art and building real connection with one another in a shared space. Bringing back live entertainment. And now with technology, we can do immersive experiences where it almost feels otherworldly. But you are still here. You are not engaged into a VR headset watching your AI artist. You are with others in community. And whenever the world is wanting to just have you locked in on your phone, scrolling, reading headlines, getting upset, evoking emotions out of you that otherwise, without this programming, like in TVs, movies, you wouldn't be experiencing in your day-to-day. We need to snap back to reality. Because what change is going to happen from you leaving a comment somewhere? Maybe you can spread awareness. I wouldn't say stop sticking up for what you believe in, but also just think differently. You can make the greatest impact if you just go into your community and see what you can do, what hands-on experience you can get. And also, try to pour your money back into your community. Really, all it takes is one action, and then you build on that action. All it takes is one risk, and then another if you fail, and then another if you fail again. Just part of learning. Because the more risk you take, especially whenever you're young, while it doesn't impact other people, the quicker you can learn and get back up. It's called lived experience, baby. So all I'm saying is, I may have not done the best interview today. I didn't walk out feeling proud, but I am proud, just more subtly. More content and grateful. I'm content that I said yes in the first place. I'm content because I tried. Even if it wasn't perfect, I tried. And now I understand when I'm doing an interview, I do not really want to be reading questions that I have written down. Because those questions I had written down, they got abandoned. They sure did. And that served me well in the first interview. But in the second interview, even though I had the questions written right down on me, I felt pressured to speak right then and there, which is part of my falling off. So now I know going forward, doing interviews, for the type of interview that I'm wanting to get, I have to prepare myself differently. And it's not necessarily something you can rush, because I needed to have that in my mind. Now I know more about ballet than I ever did before, especially about the Nashville Ballet. And I know just enough now, too, to know how much I don't know, which is a whole lot. But still, I expanded my comfort zone today. Now I know I can. Now I know I can do an interview. And I also know the next one will be better. So, ending remarks. Say yes to the next time someone is telling you about this opportunity, because if they're telling you about it and asking you to do it, they think you're ready. Do you? The answer is yes. You do. That's why you're gonna do it. But yeah, I couldn't be that dramatic. XOXO, it's Audrey Rose.